do, 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 do. Hi, Bobo. Hi, Bobo. Yeah, 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 yeah. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hallelujah. Thank you. Oh, ooh, ooh. Can't wait. Yeah, yeah, ooh. Woo, woo, woo. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Do, 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 do. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Only hallelujah, yeah, you. Only hallelujah, yeah, hey. Do, do, do. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Good evening. I see one has come in. Uh, I'm a little early. I got about 8 minutes till. Just feel like singing and preaching. Woo, 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 woo. But unfortunately, I don't know the message, so we're all going to get it together. Whatever spirit delivers, spirit delivers. Do, 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 do. And it's just, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, do, yeah, 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 hey, 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 do, 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 do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It also says slow connection, so it might be a bit of a lag. Oh Lord. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh Lord. Well, I can say this: the police is right outside, and from what it sounds like, they have arrested somebody. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 6 minutes. 6 minutes, make it first we own. Oh. Hey, bo, bo. Oh, wow. Oh, hold on. Hmm. Good evening, good evening. I got 5 minutes and the police is outside of arresting somebody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Feel like singing. Got 4 minutes. Got about 4 minutes. What wine family? I'm looking at the police. Even from this, I don't think people realize how protected they are in things like this. Oh, listen, been singing for a while. I can sing a little bit, just a little. No bow. But there's a funny story about that. Literally, how I was able to sing was one night. Uh, God was telling me He was going to save me, and I was like, okay, if you're going to save me, then let me be able to sing. Good evening, Miss Sue. And believe it or not, He gave me a voice to sing because before then, I couldn't sing worth a damn. I really couldn't. Even the dogs would get upset with me. So He allowed me to be able to sing and also play drums as well. So feel like preaching just a little bit, yeah, yeah. Feel like preaching, yeah, 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 yeah. Mm-hmm. It's one of them nights where I feel like, yeah, it's one of them nights where I feel like singing and a bit of preaching, you know. But yeah, I will tell you, I have seen God do some things, you know, that is quite amazing. I have literally seen God do stuff that I have not seen other people do. I have not seen quite, anything like it. We'll be listening, finishing up my laundry. Okay, I got you. I got you. Shoot, I got to do laundry tomorrow. Shoot doop 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 doop. Oh yeah 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 yeah. Let me mute this so it won't be going on. Yeah. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Oh, one about 30 seconds left. And then it's time for me to get started. Listen, I don't know what the Spirit is going to say tonight. I just know I feel like preaching. And whatever the Spirit say, we just going to flow with it. However that it goes. However that it goes. Because Spirit didn't tell me. I just know all of a sudden I got in a really, really good mood. And I got really, really excited. So we're just going to flow by the Spirit. And every once in a while, my phone says that it's a slow connection, but I believe it'll pick up because it keeps going in and out on the when it says slow connection. Woo 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 woo. Well, it's time. But yeah, the way that I learned this thing was literally from God, literally giving it to me, from Him literally blessing me with the voice. Because, like I said, man, I was singing and dogs would start howling like "shut up," they be like "Rawr, rawr." Like they would get mad and stuff. So literally, you know, that is one of the I would say one of the miracles of God. But I'm not gonna lie, I have been reminiscing. Oh, let me say this. Good evening. Thank y'all for coming in, for coming to the live. Y'all could have been doing any and everything. Y'all could have been watching TV, could have been doing anything. Because this live was catch me off guard, catch everybody else off guard type of thing. Normally, I say about my lives, announce the throughout the week that I'm gonna go live. But this time was one of those spare of the moment things. Literally, God did it. But thank y'all for coming in, for listening, and good evening to the other person that came in. My connection is slow, so if I don't see you right off, it's not that I'm being funny. I got a slow connection here, and so I'm gonna say good evening. But if it doesn't show your comment or your name right off the bat, I'll wait till it does, and then greet you as well. But as y'all can see, the police. Let me literally show y'all right quick. Yeah, the police is right outside, and they have grabbed somebody. They have literally grabbed somebody out there. Oh, let me tag someone. Okay. Good evening, good evening. What up, fam? Do, 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 do. Feel like singing and preaching this a little bit. Now, like I said, it's a freestyle because I got up here. Spirit ain't tell me what they wanted to say. All I know is I'm in a good mood. Good evening to the next person that came in. Like I said, I got a slow connection here. So if I don't see your message or comment for a minute, it isn't that I'm ignoring. It's just that it's a slow connection. It'll show up when it shows up. But literally, I was just reminiscing. Have you ever just reminisced on how you've been protected, how you've been kept, in spite of everything that's going on, in spite of everything that you're going through, how you just been protected in that process. Like for real. Like for myself. Good evening, good evening, good evening. What's up, fam? But literally, you just being protected. Like for instance, like I said, for instance, I remember when I used to walk home. I was in Arkansas. I used to walk home, and it'd be like 1, 2 in the morning, and the spirit would always tell me which way to walk. And one night the spirit told me, said, "Hey, the way that you normally go, that's what's up." The spirit said, "The way that you normally go, no, go this way." So when I followed what spirit said and with the way the spirit told me to go home, y'all, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I found out later that there were people who got shot. If I would have went the way that I wanted to go, I would have been one of those people laying there dead because they literally would shoot them. I remember this at the time when I was 18 years old. I remember when that happened. It's just like just remembering stuff, reminiscing. and being thankful. And at this time, I was in Arkansas. God, I couldn't have been no more than what 16 when I was doing this walking home, and everybody thought I was catching a ride home, and I wasn't. And I was literally walking from one side of town to the other side of town. Y'all forgive me. The police is outside as well, and from what it looked like, they chased this person from somewhere. Good evening, good evening, good evening. But literally, just remembering the protection of the spirits. Oh Lord, I think they finna get ratchet. Y'all give me just a second. I'm trying to make sure. Good evening, good evening. Trying to make sure they not finna get ratchet. Because if so, I'm gonna get up and take this to my room. Okay. But I just reminiscing. Hey, hey, what going? How you doing, fam? Good evening to someone else that came in. But literally, it's just doing a lot of reminiscing. Hey, family, how you doing? But just doing a lot of reminiscing, like remembering when, especially before coming into your spiritual journey. I had a conversation the other night with a young lady. We were talking about Jonah out of the Bible. Jonah was the prophet who got trapped in a well. Jonah was the prophet who literally uh, went through a lot because he did not want to follow his call. Y'all, I'm gonna get up from here. Kind of look like they getting into it with the popo. It sounds like she finna go off on the popo. Like they really finna go there with one another. Give me 1 second. Zoo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Zoo-doo-doo. Okay, but we were literally talking about Jonah. Uh, she had called, got a reading, but we were literally talking about Jonah. And she was like, we was laughing. I was saying, he should have been dead, at the time, because how you get blew out of a well, you first you got ate up by one, then you got blown up out of the well. And I said, because it's the only way to come out of a well, you have to be blown out by the well. And literally, I said, when he went up and it came down, he should have been dead. I said, that is something how God protects you, even in chastisement, even when he's telling you to accept your call. He still protects you where you should have been dead and gone. And I was telling her, I know how Jonah felt, you know. And she said, what you mean? I said, because for myself, there were things that I did not want to accept. Number one, thank you. Thank you, Willow. Appreciate that, fam. But literally, there were things that I did not want to accept. Uh, I said, with your call, I said the first thing that happened to Jonah, he wanted Jonah to go to a people that had done Jonah wrong. Now, Jonah didn't see the other side of that plan because Jonah only saw what God told him. He didn't see anything else. And so that's what happens when we see one side of a story or one side of God's plan and don't see the other side. And I told her, I said, Jonah tripped me out because, Jonah was like, I'm not going over there. I'm going over, I'm going to do my own thing. I said the first part of the story, Jonah gets on the boat. The water moves. The water becomes wrathful. God like stirred up the spirit of the water. It's hitting against the boat. The guys are on the boat. It's hitting against the boat. They start throwing lots. Like, bruh, it's not our God doing this. Throw yours. We're gonna see whose God is doing this. So when they get to the bottom of it, they said, Jonas is your God. Man of God, prophet, it's your God doing this. So they literally throw Jonah out of the boat and the water ceased. And I was explaining to her that sometimes God will close doors just to get you where you're supposed to go. She told me, she said, I said, well, I can prove my point. And she said, okay, prove your point. I said, well, in my case, whenever God don't want me living somewhere, he began to close doors. Like the doors will be closed. Like try somewhere else, go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's either a relocation or you'll get fired at that job. You'll something will close, and then God will open something else. But a lot of times, the reason why we fight it, like Jonah, well, this was my passion. This was something I enjoyed doing. I don't want to make it, a work. Um, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I said, we literally will tell God what we don't want to do. And I said, like, for instance, when God first told me who will go for me, I said, somebody else. She said, you seriously? Said, yeah. I said, I did not get mine back. I did not walk my spiritual path. And I said, I'm going to tell you what's screwed up. When you are literally preaching and you're helping other people and everybody's growing around you, but you're helping them get to the destination, but you're not getting there. And she said, wait, what? I said, okay, I'll make it make sense. Before then, I said, before I left to go to Desert Storm, I literally was preaching. I literally was the house prophet of a church. Literally, if I came with a word, everybody knew, good evening, to whoever came in. Everybody knew that it was something else. Because for myself, they knew I was coming to speak to someone. I wasn't just coming at the time. Because at that time, everybody kind of learned their place, learned the things that they do. And I was telling her, I said, but that wasn't my path. But I was helping people in a place to where I needed help. So you ever went to a therapist? You ever went to a counselor? And here you came to tell, good evening. You came to tell the therapist your problem. But you end up having to help the therapist. And she said, And you end up helping the therapist where you and the therapist both are now looking crazy, but you're still stuck with your problem. Good evening. You're still stuck with your circumstance. I said that's because they were growing in that place. And you were not growing in that place because what they had for you, they could not give you. You were supposed to go somewhere else. But a lot of times we don't like to accept because one, we've gotten comfortable. We've gotten good with it. You know what I mean? We've gotten okay. We know everybody's move. We know who's going to produce the hell. We know who the problem is. We are used to the circumstances because we have learned how people's going to act. And I said, like Jonah, we don't want to go. And I told her, I said it wasn't until I went to Desert Storm that I actually did. Yeah. That's happened to me a couple of times, man, where I would go to the therapist and the therapist sent up with a reading, and my problem don't get solved. And it's usually because they don't have my answer. And I said, I said it happens. And I said it wasn't until I got in Desert Storm and there were soldiers dependent on me. It wasn't until then that I was able to realize to accept my spiritual path. And she said it wasn't till then. I said, yeah, it wasn't till then that I learned to accept my spiritual path. And she said, what do you mean? I said, it isn't that I didn't know. I was just in the wrong places at the time. Or as we say nowadays, I was sitting at the wrong table, eating the wrong food, and it wasn't feeding my soul. It wasn't doing anything for me. Because there were things that I had to accept and be okay with it. But I wasn't okay because of what I wanted to do, because I was comfortable. I knew they were going to preach on me. I knew they was going to call me the devil. I knew. Thank you for the donation. Thank you, fam. But I literally knew they were going to preach on me. I knew who was going to do what. I knew how they was going to do it. Even in Desert Storm, I wasn't prepared till my brothers and my sisters had to lay their life in the hands of that sergeant, the big brother. And I told her, I said, I still had a problem with my call and accepting it. But what made me accept it was when I realized it's the only way to get home. Now, this is coming from a person who talked to God like I was crazy. This is coming from a person who cussed God out, who always had something to say to God that was out the way, and God had to bail me out. And I was telling her about it, and she was like, I said, and what I didn't know at the time, I was causing that church not to grow because I was supposed to leave, or as the Bible say, get out from among them. Supposed to go. A lot of times we don't get that, even in the midst of being the work being made perfect through us for our callings, for what we were chosen for. A lot of things God will move out of our way. Number one, for our sake. Number two, for their sake. Legit, they would do it because of the fact that, number one, you can block yourself and you can block those people from getting what they're supposed to. Thank you, family. And good evening to the next person that came in. But you can literally block. Oh, you can finally pin the comment. Yay. You can finally pin the comment. See, wouldn't let you do that for a while. But literally, But you have to click on it and like click on the name and then pin the comment, and then it'll show up. But literally, I didn't know at the time that that's what I was doing. It wasn't until later that I had an understanding of, was in the way. Because you don't want to stagnate nobody's growth. You don't want to stagnate your own. And so when Jonah was running, Jonah also, even though they threw him in the water, but they found out a true and living God because the boat started rocking. I mean, you have to sit there and say to yourself, well, damn, who you serve? You know what I'm saying? Like, who you following? You help them grow, but you're still in all the wrong places because of what you're refusing. See, a lot of us don't know when we refuse to accept our gifts, when we refuse to accept the spiritual path, when we refuse to accept the things and directions and instructions that the spirits give us, that it will stop us at a certain point. Now, let me tell the truth. It's not like the spirits don't know. It's not like they're going to get nervous or anything like that. They don't get nervous because they know. They see you. They see. They see you running. They see you saying hell no. They see you. And even in the midst of that, because old boy got through in the middle of an ocean. And God still protected him because of the sharks in that ocean. So here comes a whale. And the whale takes him. Now, I'm sure Jonah felt some kind of way. Like, come on, you put me in a whale. How many of us have ever been in situations where it's like you went from one thing to another? And it was all because you either had fear, you didn't follow the instructions. True, they know your heart, but at the same time, when you get instructions, somewhere you got to get the heart to follow. You got to get the heart to do what is spoken to you. That even though at the end God already knew Jonah was gonna go where he told him to go. And that he really didn't have no choice. Once you chosen, you chosen. There's nothing you can do with that but be chosen. And but accept and follow their lead. But how many's ever been in this situation where you knew you didn't do something you were told to do? But yet and still, even though God chastised and God was redirecting your path when you were trying to run from it, that He still protected you. Even when you jump from one situation to another. Because even in that, we could have been dead and gone. As I was telling her, I'm still thinking because in the midst of all of that, we could have been dead and gone. No matter what your path is, no matter what you follow. When you got those instructions and you didn't do it, and you didn't follow it because of whatever situation, or because, like with Jonah, it was because of how he felt about those people, about how they treated other people, how they treated him. He felt some kind of way. He was like, no, they should get vengeance. No, they should get whooped. But God was still sending him as the prophet. But he did not want to go. He did not want to go. And he did not want to go because the reasons of his heart. He felt that God wasn't being fair. But even in the midst of it, God still protected him because that well, that should have killed him alone. With the water and everything that well was taking in, that should have killed him alone, but it didn't. And even then, even when he was shot about that well, because that's the only way to get out unless Jonah waited till he opened his mouth and swam against the tide. That was the only other way out, was to be shot up. And when he was shot up, he did not die. But at the same time, the process of your call, when God has to take out your hurt, take out your pain, so you can begin your journey. And even in the process of that, like I said, Jonah was protected. Because I often think about how many times I didn't do exactly what I was supposed to do, but people got helped anyway. I was still allowed grace, because where I should have been dead, he didn't kill. What should have took me out didn't take me out. Because even in that, you still have to think about it. God is still good. God is still good. But just imagine in situations where you follow His instructions. Think about it. In situations where you follow His instructions and look at the blessings that you got. Good evening, good evening. And look at the blessings that you received and that you got. And when you did follow His instructions, because when Jonah finally got there, and Jonah saw that these people's heart had changed and he had delivered God's word, those people immediately did what it took because he showed up. Even when we don't understand the plan, even when we don't get it, even when we are just comprehending what we're supposed to be doing, we don't realize how much grace, how much protection, how much love God bestowed, that He bestowed upon us. But even when God knows your heart, there are still things you gotta do. There are still instructions you gotta follow. There are. And because God has no respect of person, like if I tell one to do something, it's just like the man with the talents. When he gave all three of them talents and gifts, he gave them theirs. He told them, bring me back double. Good evening, good evening. Yeah, since I was live, that's the only reason why I ain't answered fire started. But literally, he gave them gifts. When he gave them gifts, they got the gifts. They got everything. Now, here was the kick. One of them buried their gifts in the ground. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good, sis. I'll call after the live though. But it's all good. And literally, when the one buried his gift in the ground, the others, they brought theirs back. They brought back twice. When the young man came back, he said, where's yours? He buried it. He had unburied it. He gave it to Jesus like, here you go. Jesus was like, this ain't twice. This. I told you to go out. Good evening, good evening. I told you to go out and bring back double. He said, well, I was scared. You know, um, I figured I'll just bring you back that. He said, you know what? Okay. Um, I'm going to get us away to somebody else. I could imagine how that man felt when God handed what he had gave him to someone else. I can imagine. I can imagine how he felt. I can imagine. And the reason why, because like I said, at the time we don't understand. We don't get it. The process of the call, the workings, the perfect work that has to be done within us. Because, like I told the young lady, I didn't get it at the time. I was, like I said, cussing God out. I was listening. Uh, Player was talking some real life shit. Okay, to God, and God had to teach lessons. And so, like I said, we don't realize the protection in the things that we do. Because even though that man could have got hurt, that man could have got a lot of stuff that was unfair, that probably some people would have thought was unfair, but it would have been justified because he made his choice. He made his choice. A lot of us don't get it. That still got grace. Hold on just a second. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to turn that all the way down, bro. Speak directly to your spirit. Bring that down. Bring it down. Bring it down about 3,000. But literally, we don't think about it. Just like I'll tell you now, I was supposed to have been left San Antonio. Supposed to been left last year. But due to circumstances, I couldn't leave. And sometimes you need to apologize. Yeah, yeah. I had to apologize. Now, did the Spirit give me grace? Yes. Thanks to you, my Spirit gave me grace. See, a lot of times we don't even get the protection that was given in the midst of being late to directions and instructions. So this is why, like I said, it took me back. It took me back. How many times was I protected when I didn't exactly do what I was told to do? When I didn't follow what I was told to do? When I made those choices that I'm gonna do what I want to do? How many times was I protected? How many times did the spirits, the ancestors, God, the Loa, the Orishas, still keep me? See, we do gratitude, but we don't thank Him for the things that we knew we was out of line for it. We forget to say thank you for those. Because yes, like Miss Sue said, He knows our heart, but we don't say thank you for those because we be in the process of the call. Like I said, there were days I said get somebody else to do it. And there are days, even to this day, when you accept what your path is, when you accept what you're supposed to do, when you accept the divine mission, you still gonna have days when you say, "Man, fuck this." There's gonna be days like that. There's literally gonna be days like that. But you still can be thankful because even though you have days like that, He always show up to keep you and say, "No, no, no, don't give up. You can give in to me, but don't give up." Good evening, good evening. Because even as of now, but I, with the voice of thanksgiving, will sacrifice to your what I have vowed. I will repay. Salvation belongs to the Lord, but I will sacrifice to you with songs of praise. Good evening, good evening. With songs of praise. Good evening, good evening. Hold on. Trying to finish with songs of praise and will fulfill all my vows. For my salvation come from the Lord alone. Thank you for reminding me of this. Oh man, that's powerful within itself, because that's exactly what I was talking about. In spite of us not being perfect, not following directions, not always getting everything right, not doing things on time, in spite of, He gives us grace. And for that, that's why I said that, we still need to give gratitude. Good evening, good evening. We still need to give gratitude, because we could have been dead and gone with the choices that we made. We could have been dead and gone. But thankfully, in our paths, in our spiritual paths, what we believe and what we walk in, that He still keep you and help you survive. Now, Here's a catch to that. Let me say this: Here's a catch to that. What you don't want your race to be is in vain. So you don't want to work and you have to work out your choices, but you didn't work out your call. So you don't want to get stuck there either. Because a lot of us are in our path, we're in our call. You get what I'm saying? And you're working out your call. And I'm gonna be honest, it's not easy always. It's not. But this is why it's important to be thankful. Good evening, good evening. This is why it's important to be thankful. Because in spite of, many times we could have been taken out of here. Many times we could have been gone. When we didn't do it the way we were supposed to do it, we could have been gone. But we still here. We still standing. Because in the process of your call, you're going to feel like a lot of things. You're going to feel like giving up. You're going to feel like cutting somebody out. You're going to feel like take that pimp hand and slap somebody in the middle of Jesus. You're going to want to slap somebody into next Tuesday. You see what I'm saying? You're going to have those days. Especially when you're in the process of your call. Because there's a difference. Because now lives depend on it. Because now you're an example. And see, Jonah was an example. And even though it may seem like Jonah didn't help nobody, yes, Jonah did. The minute that Jonah's story was wrote down, it helped us with some do's and some don'ts. Any book that you read, anything that you see, yeah, you literally see the do's and you see the don'ts. You literally see it. Like I said, I felt like singing too, so you're going to hear a little verse or a song in there somewhere. But literally, you're going to see some do's and some don'ts. But don't let it discourage you. On your shit, get up and keep moving. But thank God, thank your ancestors, thank whatever your path is, whether it be with the Loa, the Orishas, whatever your path is. It doesn't even matter. I don't even care if you don't believe it the way I believe. I don't care. Because it's your relationship with what you believe. Now, I happen to believe in the Loa, I happen to believe in the Orishas as well. I mean, I'm sure my page reflects that. I believe in a lot of things, but I'm sure my page reflects that. But literally, you got to remember this. You are in work. You got to remember this. You're in work. Because, like I said, when Jonas got there, when Jonah saw the plan of God, he obeyed. But I know he thought to himself, man, if I would have known this, I would have just came on. But because we let our fears, we let our anxieties, we let our depression, we let life situations get in the way because we don't see what God sees because to us the room looks empty. I mean, it's still the truth. Where God asks you to go, sometimes it don't look like that's everything you need. Where God asks you to live, it don't look like everything you need. Where God asks you to sit, it don't always look like everything you need. But it's everything you need. I know the room look empty. I'm honored. I'm honored, fam. I'm honored. Even though the room look empty, it don't look like the standards that you would have. But it's still everything you need. It'll meet what you're looking for the moment. Because remember, you're in the process of the call. That's why he said, despise not small beginnings, for they have great endings. Now, from a business perspective, despise not the how business looks small. Keep an account what people like, what they dislike, what sells the most, and that's the thing you stock the most. The very thing that they keep coming back for, that's the very thing you do. And you just keep going, keep going, keep going. Pay attention. Pay attention. And this is how you continue business. And then after a while, you will see a profit from it. Just like walking into an empty room. You will see the vision and the pieces come in to play and fit to where they fit in the puzzle. Just have to trust your ancestors, your spiritual team, your god or goddess, or gods or goddesses that you are graced with in your life. Don't give up. Don't let go. But you have to have gratitude. Let's think about it. Could have been dead and gone. How many times did we make choices and we laid down and we knew damn well the Spirit told us different, but we laid down and what graced us in our life made sure we woke up the next morning, made sure we still had food, made sure that everything was taken care of. It might have not been to your liking, but it was taken care of. It was handled. Even when you thought life was over as you knew it. And you hear the instructions of the Spirit, and you still was looking at the current situation, but God. And I'm being honest. I'm saying this because not only that, I'm excited about the journey that I'm taking in Vodou, but at the same time, I have to remember the grace, and I have to remember that. Wow, all those times when you didn't know who was protecting you, you didn't know, and all those times that you were slow doing it, all those times that you didn't quite get it, good afternoon, that you didn't quite get it, you didn't quite understand, all those times that you said that you wasn't going to try that no more, you're not doing this, you're not doing that because of whatever situation that came up. I had to stop and give gratitude. Good evening, good evening. I had to stop and give gratitude because even in my defiance, in my disobedience, in my obedience, things that I did do, things that took me time to do, I'm still grateful. Because y'all, I could have been dead. Especially choices that could have gotten me killed. things that when I didn't pay the bill, I could have been in the dark. But Spirit let me get an extension when I took the money and did something else. We literally have to think about all those things, the process of the call. Because I ain't wake up in the morning and said I think I'll be a prophet. I woke up and said, get somebody else to do it. I'm going to be real. I was just like Jonas. But the one thing that I'm thankful for is grace, protection, love. That regardless of what, my back was always watched. At times when I thought I wasn't going to make it out of something, at times when I thought that I should be dead, when I thought I wasn't protected, when I thought I had to do it on my own, he still did it. He still did it. He still made a way out of nowhere. Even when you don't know who all is protecting you, still did it. Good evening. Still did it. Still had your back. At a time when your back shouldn't have been had, it was your choice, your decision. But you did get grace. But I'll tell you this, especially at a time when you thought you were going to lose your mind, God had your back. No matter what your path is, no matter what you believe, but got your back. Got your back and stayed there. The times where you should have been dead and gone. Got your back. And this is why, like I said, when I look back over my life, I'm grateful. When I look back over things, I'm grateful. And even though I was telling a young lady that, because this is true, when God wants you to go in a certain direction, yes, He will begin to remove. He will begin to cut off things. Good evening. He will begin to take certain things out of your life. Why? Because it no longer serves you. Now, if you hold on to it, certain karma you will pay for because you're supposed to let that person go. And then I'm going to tell you this. A lot of us still hold in anger. God saying let go. Because it's not only hindering someone else's karma from them receiving it, but it's hindering you from your manifestations, from your abundance, from your blessings. So we have to remember everything is a twofold. Good evening, good evening. Everything is a twofold. So we have to learn in the process of the call. You gotta let some things go. And gotta be okay with that. And gotta understand just because you're comfortable with it, just because you're used to being angry and you're used to being upset, you gotta get out of the way. I remember the hostility that I was holding against this pastor. I held that hostility for 2 years. Ooh, I was mad at them. And I'm gonna tell you the funny thing. My favorite words to God was that I was not Hosea. Okay, because at the time, hey fam, at the time, y'all, this is what happened. I was in church. Peace. I was in church, and everybody in the joke was old. If somebody was fucking somebody, okay. Now, me, I had quit smoking, I had even quit eating red meat. I didn't cuss, didn't do nothing, okay? Didn't drink, didn't smoke, nothing, okay? Why do you folks get mad at me? and started calling me the devil. Literally, they was calling me the devil. I was the demon, the spawn of hell. Let them tell it. And literally, wasn't doing nothing. But what was amazing to me, it wasn't their reaction. It was mine when I thought about it years later. Because years later, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I was going off on God. I was like, really? I'm not Hosea. Why you send me with the hoes? Now, don't get me wrong. I got blessed with them hoes. Let me tell you the truth. I got some blessings with them hoes. Okay? I had food. I ate. I had my own place. But I was upset because I was associated with hoes. And when I say hoes, they was literally hoes. Okay? Because, I mean, they was in a fuck fest. And a part of me, I'm gonna be honest, part of me was mad because shit, hell, I be like, Lord, I get my rocks off. I ain't gonna lie. Nah, I literally told God that good evening to whoever came in. And literally, it wasn't until later that God made it clear to me it's never about that. I was perfecting the work in you. But it wasn't until I got rid of the anger, got rid of the hurt, I had to heal. And it was years later before I got rid of that to find out the pastor didn't even have a church anymore. Neither was he married, um, on child support. The ministers that talked about me, they literally caught hell. One of them, she passed away. Good evening, good evening. One of them, she passed away. Another one of them got sick. Every time anybody looked around, the girl was sick. Good evening, good evening. But to be honest, I never would have known that. Hey, Royalty, what's up, family? I never would have known that if I'd have kept that anger. I never would have found out that while I was over there tripping, my ancestors, my spiritual team, literally took care of all that for me. Now, did they all get taken care of different ways? I'm sure somebody apologized to God. I'm sure somebody gave it to God. I'm sure somebody prayed for forgiveness. But literally, I never would have known if I'd have held on to that. I never would have gotten my blessings. I think a lot of key things with us we don't even get that at certain points when we let stuff go, it is the reason why we are this far in our path. Because if you ever pay attention, even in magic, if you ever pay attention, when you remove something, something else has to come in the place of what you remove. You remove negativity, positivity has to come. You remove death, then life has to come. You remove bad, then the good has to come. You remove being poor, then prosperity has to come. If you remove being a peasant, royalty has to come. So, when you remove something, when you remove anger, peace has to come. But whatever costs it, we'll pay for it. Especially if you're pure in heart and you're innocent. Because, like, this year is the year of people catching spiritual hands. And what's so messed up, the practitioner ain't even getting a chance to do no work. You look up, damn, okay. You're not even getting a chance to do the work. You'll start seeing people catch hell. And then some of us, and let me say this, because not everybody's catching karma. Some people's catching their training. Some of us will go through it because we're catching that training for that gift, for that call, whatever we were chosen to do, for that next level of elevation. Some of us will catch that training because some of us may need money management, some of us may need to learn how to manage in the spirit or navigate in the spirit or be able to strategically walk in the spirit. Whatever the case is, you'll catch that training as well. But literally, it's to the point to where you got to be careful. You got to be careful. And let me say this. A lot of us, we don't even know we're carrying the deity within us. You're looking outside and the deity is inside. I mean, anything you read, whatever spiritual path, have you always noticed they told you the light was within you? Yeah, little guys, the scriptures cannot be broken. In Buddhism, the searching of your heart leads to the light within you. That is the doorway to your path to go within. Even in ayahuasca, the first thing for deep healing, you have to go within to face the fears that are within to find the true you that is the conqueror within. You have to find that medicine woman, medicine man, like whatever the path is. All of them teach you to face you. Now, whether Christians want to say that or not, even the Bible would direct you to face you, to deal with what's been invested on the inside of you. It tells you that treasures are hidden in earthen vessels. And let me say this while this is on my mind. Darkness. Let's really have a talk. Let's stop blaming darkness with negativity, saying when I go to my dark side, I can destroy you. But stop, because darkness also is where you plant your seeds in a garden. When you plant it in the dirt, what is it? Darkness. When a baby comes into this world, it comes into the belly. There's no light in there. It's darkness. Um, when you discover your gifts, it's the darkness that you have to go into to uncover. How can the light expose what has to be uncovered first in the dark? When this earth was created, even no matter what story you read, someone had to say, let there be, and the light come out of the darkness. So what I'm saying is, instead of always looking at the the darkness for negativity, how about deep healing? How about discovering what's on the inside of you to bring it to the light? That's what makes it duality. That's what makes it a balance between the two. Because the illumination comes in the light. The power is being enlightened, but they go hand in hand. Now, there's a difference between light and good. There's a difference between darkness and evil. Now, again, that depends on your heart, which no matter what you read, no matter what path you go to, tell you about your heart. Because it is what you hold. So when dealing with stuff, let's open our minds and take a different approach. Not just to do negative things. Y'all forgive me, but I get so tired of people saying that. Now I hear people say, love and light, I'm down to darkness. No, you need your duality. Quit playing. You got a right and a left hand. You got two legs. Quit playing. You got two eyes, two nostrils. You got a mouth that speaks out of both. Power, life, and death is in the tongue. So let's use that. Let's not be scared of it. But let's take the candle and the roadmap and discover what's on the inside of us so that you can get the full totality of you and how to do so. Oh God, I think somebody had a wreck. Did y'all hear that big bang noise? Did any of y'all hear that noise? Like somebody crashed into something? I know my connection is slow. Y'all probably answered, but the connection is slow. Yeah, because I think somebody banged into something. Yeah, I hope everyone went okay. Matter of fact, let me just peek my head out here. Let's see if everybody's okay. Yes, that's a trip. I remember I was saying about grace. Let me see if anybody got any grace. Gosh, damn. Okay. Not that car, but the car in front of it. I think he's at a dramatic stop. Hope everybody's okay. Yeah. Hope everybody's okay. Ooh. Let me make sure that's it. That's tough. Something. Yeah, I think what he did was probably pop the hell out of that stop sign down there. Yeah, because they're asking them if they're okay. Yeah, he did. He popped the shit out of a car. Yep. But they standing on the outside asking each other if they're okay. So I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come on back inside, politely shut the door, and politely lock mine. Good evening, good evening. And the reason why, if it's already taken care of, I ain't that nosy. I ain't gonna walk all the way down there. Any other time I probably wouldn't even check, but they both out of the car. And earlier today, whole gang of folks got to fight. Yeah. Well, I think there's gonna be more than a problem because the young man across the street, if I'm not mistaken, he has warrants. So hopefully, everything be all right. But I was glad that they are okay. They are breathing and living to ask each other if they're okay. Now, whether they stay down there in the middle of the street or not, it's up to them. But I will tell you this: they still got grace because no one got hurt. Like we're both out of the car asking each other. Yeah, that's true. That's true. There are things that'll make you stop. But like I said, And they have to look at the grace in the matter, though. Neither one of them died in the process of it. And then that's a good thing. But like I said, sometimes you have to think about the grace and the mercy. But we also have to remember the process of the call. Um, because like I said, you're going to feel like it. You're going to need your healing. You're going to need this or that. So, they need the grace. And oh, this is juice. There's no alcohol in this one tonight. Good evening, good evening. But I'm going to tell you, it's amazing to me. A lot of times, you be surprised. A lot of times, you're on the highway or you're driving and someone else. I don't know whose fault that was or even how that happened. I just know when he got down there, the loud bang, and people don't realize grace. And I will be honest. This is why I stay thankful because even in a situation, it could have been worse. Even in a situation, thank you for the stars, thank you, because literally it could have been worse. Yeah, it could have been some more shit. Just to be honest, it could have been some more. But the fact that, not mistaken, I think they done rode off. I think the both of them done rode off in their cars. But the literal grace, because they could have been dead and gone. How many times we could have been dead and gone? That's why it's important, like, to make a mistake and make a decision. Own your decision, on your mistake. And then let me say this: there's a flip side to this because when you're obedient, there's grace. When you're obedient and you're doing what you're supposed to do, your blessings come too. Even when it looked like the situation was worse, it was a video I posted. Even though it was funny, I'm not gonna lie, that guy tickled me. No, he did. But in the video, the guy from DoorDash had spit all over his food. He didn't know it. When his sandwich was too hot, he dropped it in the house. He went to start his car wouldn't start. He called an Uber, and the Uber guy would not take him that far out. So he goes in, he telling the guy, he says, "Why you doing that? Why you doing this? I really need this job. I really need this job." And he goes in, he go back out again, come back in. Jesus pops up. He was just a fussing. He was like, Jesus, he wasn't expecting to see him in the house. And he's still fussing. So Jesus snapped his finger, take him outside. So remember your food from the Uber guy, the DoorDash? He said, yeah. Showed him the guy had spit and done everything, harped all over his food. That was one. He said, that was protecting you. Two, the guy, when he called the Uber driver to come and get him, and the guy said he wouldn't go, he showed where the dude had a wreck. The third thing was his car. He said, but my car is, he said, what's wrong with your car? He said, nothing wrong with my car. And the car exploded. So even in circumstances and things that happen, we sometimes don't get. Maybe the circumstance was meant to protect you, and that's the reason why it didn't work. And that's the reason why you couldn't go. That's the reason why you couldn't get to that interview. Because you don't know what was on the highway. You don't know what was wrong with that car. You don't know why you couldn't eat that food or why you couldn't get to where you want to get to. So sometimes we have to stop and ask, hey, are you protecting me? You know, are you protecting me from something? Because you will be surprised Because when me and the young lady was having a discussion, I said, because God creates situations. And it'll work for your good. Some of it will be for your protection. Some of it will be to relocate you. For instance, I remember the first time God called me to, well, the Loa, everything that walks with me, my whole spiritual team now, was literally saying, you need to go full-time spiritual. Y'all, look at my face. Y'all, hold on. Y'all, you know, I'm not going to lie to you. I did not want to do it. I did not. I wanted to keep working. I wanted to keep getting my check every 2 weeks, every week. That's what I wanted to do. But because of what the Spirit said, that's what I had to do. Because when you follow in the Spirit, that's what you have to do. I'm not saying that it's peaches and cream all the time to do what God said or whatever your path is. Whatever you believe, it doesn't matter. It's universal. And I'm not a Christian. So, whatever your path is. But when you get told to do something, no, it's not always easy. Did I have any struggles? Yes. Was I down to my last? Did I ever look in the refrigerator and there was no food? Yeah. But you know what was so crazy? He would use people to give me money, to give me food, and I didn't give him no reading. He used people. One of them in his life. So a couple of them in his life. A couple of them watching the live from the outside. That I had no idea that my spiritual team laid it on their hearts. All I knew was to go and tell them. And they literally provided. I'm not going to say that was the easiest thing. I'm not going to say that I didn't get upset. I'm not going to say that I didn't react. I'm not going to say that. Not at all. I'm not going to tell you that it's always easy to do what God told you to do. I'm not going to tell you that it's easy to do what your ancestors said do. I'm not going to tell you that. It's not always easy. It's always a blessing. It always works for your good. It's always an abundance behind it. I'm not going to tell you that it's easy. No. Because what happens when your faith has to really matter? When you have to really trust. Not just when everything's great and wonderful. And when everything's flowing the way you want it to flow. What happens then? What happens when you're running a business? No, better yet, for those that are full-time spiritual, what happens then when you have to pay those bills? What happens then? That's when your faith has to really be strong, and you have to really stand there and say, "They brought me out of this one. They'll bring me out of this." That's when you really have to trust. Easy to trust when you got all the blessings, but what about when you have to put in the work? And some of these people, like I'll use my godmom for an example. She put in her work for her prosperity. She didn't get there overnight. She put in her work. She didn't get there overnight. So we went through some ups and downs. I'm sure there were days she didn't feel like getting out of the bed. I know how that feels. Because there were days I didn't want to move. That I was like, don't call me, don't talk to me, don't look at me, just leave me the entire fuck alone. Been there. I know how that feel. I know how that feel. But fam, I know you know how that feel. I know a lot of us know how that feel. To have to stand there and trust when your back is against the wall, when you robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know what I'm saying? But then when you get to those promises and you get to those things, that's God's way of showing you. That's your ancestors' way of showing you. That's whatever your spiritual path is. Because this new journey, man, I am so grateful because I remember. Doesn't mean that my going through stopped, but I remember. And I'm grateful because I remember the times I didn't obey. I remember the times I didn't do. I remember the times that I did. I remember the times that God literally said and did what he was going to do. It's a track record. Not the easiest one, but the process of the call. Because when you get your abundance, when you get that overflow, I promise you, you're going to know how to handle it. Because it is coming. It is coming. You'll know how to handle it too. Because you can remember when. You can remember to have gratitude. You can remember to be thankful. Because look at all the times that you were kept. Look at all the times you was protected. Look at all the times that what should have took you out didn't. Where you should have thrown your hands up didn't. Where you should have been like, fuck all this, you still standing. And ways out of no way, still being made. So, if nothing else I said tonight, but to encourage you to stay in gratitude and to know that regardless to what, know that they are with you. And every day they'll show you. Every day God will show you. Every day your spiritual team will show you. Just know that you know. And by the way, this live went totally different from what I expected. But spirit what spirit wants, spirit gets. But just know that you know. You got this. Because when you get to your blessings, when you get to that abundance, when you get to that overflow, you get to that prosperity, do me one solid. Stay humble, stay grateful, and don't complain about the overflow. Just learn to organize and make time and keep a balance for rest. You spoke to my spirit, family. I'm grateful to you for coming live today. Listen, let me give you a true story about this here live. This live was spontaneous. I was over in Firestarters live getting the whole read. Okay? Getting the whole read. Crying like a $2 hoe. Getting the whole read. And Spirit was like, telling me you going live at 9. He said, yeah, you going live at He said, yeah, you going live. So we gonna heed that one on Spirit. We gonna even heed the direction because I didn't know what the message was when I went live. Oh, I know what it wants, the Spirit will get you. Hallelujah. I popo, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, ooh, I popo, yeah. Like I said, I feel like singing. You know what? She said I spontaneously saw you both. Listen, you and me both. And like I said, I feel like singing. So, hi Bobo, hi Bobo, I can feel it. is coming. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We gon' be blessed. Yeah. I can feel it. I can feel it. Doors will be open. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We bound to be tremendously abundantly blessed. That breakthrough is coming. Oh yeah, I go bow. Be low, low, low. Quiet. I know, yeah. I say, oh, ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hallelujah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My. I feel it. Glory, 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 glory. Mhm. And I feel it in my bones. Y'all have a wonderful night. If nobody has anything else to say, I'm gonna hold up for that. Many, many blessings. Many, many blessings. We gonna heed the glory to God. I'm just gonna say thank you for being the vessel, but we gonna heed it to Him. I feel it. I feel it. Oh, everything is gonna fall into place. Yeah, yeah. I feel it. I feel it coming through. Yeah, 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 yeah. Call your blessings, call your prosperity. Call everything you need out of your heart. The abundance of life. Call your blessings. Abundance. Oh, yeah. Call it, yeah, yeah. Glory, glory. Who I feel it. That is a king's decree. Feel it, yeah. Woo, yeah. But y'all, look, she talking about keep going. Listen, Linda. But I do, I feel it. I feel it in my spirit that everybody's about to get elevated. Just don't give up. Don't give in. Know that you got this. Know that you know. Even though spirit have to have those uncomfortable conversations, know that you know the elevation is coming and that we're being groomed for the abundance. Ah, you heard him? And I love to play drums. I feel it. I feel it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Feel it. I feel it. Do. I feel it coming right on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hallelujah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I heard angelic singing in my ears yesterday, rude boy. Oh, for real? I can feel it coming in the Listen, I do though. I feel it in my spirit. I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my soul. There's about to be some changes. And listen, they ain't done singing. I feel it. Get ready. Get ready. Yeah. Feel it, I do. I feel it. Do. it. I do. Do, yeah, feel it. I feel it. But anyway, if there's nothing else, y'all, if no one else has anything to say, I'm going to end this live shortly. I'm still trying to let it go. Okay, okay. Because I'm just going by the spirit. Although I do hear Al Green now. Everything is gonna be alright. He's coming back. Like he said he would. Everything is gonna be alright. He's coming back. Yeah, like he said he would. I'm honored through and I'm humble through the spirits, the ancestors. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. In the most high, oh I'm honored. Then I love you, yeah, 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 I do. Oh yeah, 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 I do. What it do, fam? Do I feel it? Ooh. Fam, you gonna have to watch the replay. You saying keep singing. Listen, Linda. But listen, I feel it. I do, I do, yeah. What's up, family? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're gonna have to give me your program. You're gonna have to give me your pronouns. Red Rippers, you're gonna have to give me your pronouns. I feel it. Cause I wanna call you sis. I really do. I feel it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got busy with Dumbledore and this church today. Oh, that's what's up. I feel it. Oh, I do. I bo be low. I feel it. Do. The more you sing, the lighter my spirit. Oh, I'm honored. I feel it. Do do. Yeah, 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 yeah. Do, 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 do. I feel it. Y'all don't feel those changes coming? Y'all don't feel those changes coming? I feel it. Ooh, 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 yeah, yeah. Feel a lot of changes coming. Some of us that are got businesses, you about to be real busy, bro. You about to be real busy. So grateful for spirit and the gifts that I have been allowed to have. That's it right there. That's it right there. I feel it. Yeah, yeah. I'm fine with sis, but he, him, I'm okay with sis. And girl, though, it doesn't bother me because I give off a lot of feminine energy. I feel it. Hey, get in there. What's up, fam? So much gratitude. I definitely feel it. Yeah, it's in the air. It's in the air. The blessings are in the air. It's in the air. And we still blasting music out the wreck. We bold, boy. I feel it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of y'all gonna have to catch the replay. But like I said, I did feel like singing a song. Yeah, 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 yeah. I feel it. Do you feel it? Do you feel it, yeah. Do you feel it, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Do you feel it, yeah, yeah, yeah. 'Cause I feel it in the air, it's coming. Yeah, 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 it's coming, yeah. Breakthroughs are coming, yeah. Business is coming, yeah. Everything is coming, 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 yeah. Ooh, I feel it, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's coming, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. About to spray my crown and pillow and lay this head down. Thank you, family. Much love and gratitude. Much love. I love you, family. I love all of y'all. I'm going to get off this live too. I'm going to say peace and blessings as I'm drooling somebody's ancestors showing me cakes and foods and pies and stuff. Hey, y'all do me a favor. Go take care of your ancestors, please. Cause me and Jamal, my stomach can't take no more of these appetizing foods that we don't have in this house. So please take care of your ancestors and feed them. I love y'all. Peace and blessings. I feel it.